If you're wondering if life is actually affordable in Calgary and if it fits your budget, I'm here to talk to you about that today. I'm Ann Stranges, your go-to Calgary real estate agent, and I'm going to talk to you today about the cost of living in Calgary and where we stand on the Canadian scale. Here's what stands out in Calgary, and that's actually the cost of housing. Being a real estate agent, I have access to the MLS and I know our benchmark prices. Right now in Calgary, you can get a single family detached home for about 600,000. Now, 600,000 in Vancouver or Toronto, love those two cities, doesn't really get you a ton. So we're starting off really strong in Calgary with affordable housing options, and this is something that really sets Calgary apart on the metropolitan scale of Canadian cities right now. The second item in cost of living is utilities. Yes, we have very cold winters. We're not going to try and sugarcoat that in Calgary. We can get down to minus 40. However, our cost of natural gas being in Alberta helps keeps things a little bit under control. So if you're looking at heating, electricity, and water, that'll put you at about $300 to $400 a month. And then if you're adding, of course, Wi-Fi on top of that, you're looking at about $80 to $100, 100 plus, depending what service provider you're with. So all in, you could be looking anywhere from $400 to $500 a month. If you are in a condo, sometimes there are condos that will have electricity and water included. There are some that include gas, but that's something that you would have to do in your due diligence to see what's included in your condo fees. The third is something I'm very excited about because this is one of the reasons I moved to Alberta. We do not have a provincial sales tax. So in Alberta, we only have 5% GST, and that's all you're paying. So you're not paying an additional 12, 13, 8%, such as some other provinces do. We only have 5% GST on goods and services. The next item in cost of living is groceries. On average, I would say $500 a month is a smart place to budget for groceries. I'm going to add a caveat to this and say it's really challenging to determine, depending what time of year you're watching this video. We all know that the price of goods is increasing, and that's really impacting grocery costs right now. So it's important to say, try and shop seasonally when you can, but budgeting about $500 a month for groceries, in my opinion, is a very realistic place to look when you're budgeting on moving to Calgary. The next item to factor into cost of living is property taxes. So again, if you are purchasing a property in Calgary, it's important to note that we are projected to see about a 3.7% increase in our property taxes, and your property taxes are they're determined by the city of Calgary, and it is based, typically it's relative to the value of your home. So the greater the value of your home, you're going to have higher property taxes, and the opposite is true as well. So it's important to budget that because you might be looking at property taxes that could be $1,800 a year or $18,000 plus a year, depending on the value of your home. The last factor to consider into the cost of living in Calgary is lifestyle. So it really depends what you like to do. Something that I truly enjoy about Calgary is there are lots of lifestyle options that are actually completely free. We are a 45-minute drive from the Rocky Mountains. If you love hiking, if you love being outdoors, it's a 45-minute drive and you're just looking at the cost of gas. If you want to stay in the city, we have incredible provincial parks. We have incredible city parks that really allow you to be outside in nature and in a beautiful space without having to travel far. So again, this is entirely dependent on what your lifestyle needs are. But in my opinion, Calgary has a really large range of if you want to stay on a very low budget and do things that are free, or if you're looking to have higher scale opportunities, there's always room for that as well. So if you're looking for a balance between quality of life and affordability, Calgary is a really great option. Perhaps I have a self-serving opinion here, but I really do feel that after living in Calgary for 13 years, I sincerely feel that the quality of life and the cost of living that I have here outshines when I used to live in Ontario. That's where all my family is. I still love Ontario, but Calgary for me is just a standout in terms of those items. Not to mention, we're also one of the sunniest Canadian cities, and I would like to think that we're one of the cleanest as well. When my family comes to visit me, it's something that they always say is how clean Calgary is. So if you are curious about the cost of living in Calgary and want to go a little bit more in depth, I would be happy to talk about that. This is just a very surface level conversation if you're thinking about making the move. I'm Ann Stranges, your go-to Calgary real estate agent, and I look forward to connecting. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.